space, or the difference between powder mass and air, and you need all those to achieve the blend. What's on the bottom of this thing is called a loader unloader. It just lifts a drum up against the blender so that when the blender's inverted, it fills it up, and you can then drop the drum down. You don't have to have a mezzanine with this kind of device. Just so the last time I showed it, people didn't know, but so this is a loader unloader. It would pull the drum up against it. You would invert the blender, fill it up, fill the blender up, or when you're discharging, just the reverse. Clear? All right. There's a V blender being loaded from a mezzanine from above. Here's a cross-flow blender, a little bit different. One pant leg is longer than the other. And the idea behind that is just to create a more random mix, that it won't become trained to follow the same path, that one leg is longer, so it creates a different mix. So you can get 15 experts in this room to argue about what's going to work best, and it's very dependent on the powders. There's a little blender like that's in the back that we're going to look at in a little bit. It's a V blender. This one happens to be a clear shell, and inside has a pin type intensifier bar. Typically these intensifier bars are used to de-lump. When you see a pin bar that just has pins or little bars sticking out, that this bar spins at about 1700 RPM. And it spins, and it's used to de-lump, and it aids in mixing. It can also aid in overmixing. It can also hurt if you have a friable product. If you use it too much, it can break the product up. So intensifier bars are a real advantage, but they can be overused, so you have to study and know how to use them. So the pin type bar is used to de-lump and to spin products in. Now we can have a liquid solids bar, a bar that gives you the ability to pump liquid in and spray liquid in and turns it into a granulator, right? Those bars turn at twice the RPM, 3,400 RPM typically. So usually a liquid solids bar spins at a much higher speed to get the spray into the powder mass and to de-lump. So just a pin type bar, or a bar that's just used to de-lump powders, is typically turns at a slower RPM. All right. Now, we're talking about this fill level, and I'm making a statement then here. Photo shows a twin shell blender with about 60%. The statement is that typically what we see in a blender is 50 to 70%. 50% being the center